An AI model had found a vulnerability that had been sitting undetected in OpenBSD for 27 years, autonomously with no human guidance after the initial prompt. And the security industry kind of lost its mind. I spent several weeks reading everything I could find on Claude Mythos, Project Glasswing, and what the research community is saying about the implications. There are some very smart people working on this problem, and the honest answer is, we're all still figuring this out in real time. Here's what the research says so far. On April 7th, 2026, Anthropic announced Claude Mythos Preview alongside Project Glasswing, described as the largest coordinated vulnerability disclosure effort in history. Within days, it had reached boardrooms, legislative offices, and national security agencies. By May 1st, 6 national cybersecurity agencies issued the first joint guidance ever written specifically about agentic AI security. CISA, NSA, and 4 allied nations for the first time ever. That kind of coordinated response does not happen over hype. So, what did Mythos actually demonstrate? Mythos generated 181 working Firefox exploits under the same conditions where the previous best model managed 2. The autonomous exploitation rate trajectory is the data point that should stop you cold. GPT-5 hit 18% in September 2025. Claude Sonnet 4.5 hit 22% the same month. GPT 5.4 reached 90% by March 2026. Claude Opus 4.6 hit 98% by February 2026. Patch-first defense was always partially a fantasy. The entire market category of risk-based vulnerability management exists because the industry had already accepted that patching everything was not achievable. You build triage systems when you're already overwhelmed. The National Vulnerability Database enriched 42,000 CVEs in 2025, a record, while submissions increased 263% in the same period. First forecasts 100,000 new CVEs for 2026. NIST officially moved 29,000 backlog CVEs to not scheduled. The institution built to help security teams prioritize patching formally acknowledged it could not keep pace. Now, Chris Hughes at Resilient Cyber presented the math at the CSA Agentic AI Security Summit. 14 billion GitHub commits projected for 2020, multiplied by a 2.74 times AI bug rate, divided by a 4-hour exploit window. He calls the result the Vulnpocalypse. The zero-day clock tracks median time from vulnerability disclosure to confirmed exploitation using over 3,500 data points. 771 days in 2018. 10.8 months in 2021, 4 hours in 2024. IBM's analysis of the Mythos moment concludes that the response is now the binding constraint, not discovery. For the entire history of this field, it was the other way around. This just flipped. Project Glasswing is a genuinely significant coordinated effort, and the intent is right. Getting 40 major vendors patching before public disclosure is meaningful work, and the remediation picture is still sobering. As of late April, Vulncheck found 1 CVE in the public record directly credited to Glasswing. Chris Hughes at Resilient Cyber puts the patching rate at under 1% of what Mythos found. Picus Security got there independently. The finding problem was solved. The fixing problem was not. Beyond remediation, there are layers Glasswing was never designed to address. Social engineering requires no CVE. MGM Resorts lost approximately $100 million in 2023 because attackers called the help desk, impersonated an employee, and asked someone to reset credentials. No technical vulnerability was involved. As code from participating vendors gets cleaner, the path of least resistance moves towards the humans underneath. The coverage gap seems to be structural. The CSA briefing notes that the world's exploitable attack surface is vastly larger than any curated partner ecosystem can cover. The 40 vendors in Glasswing represent a fraction of the software running in any medium or large organization. The agentic ecosystem is the layer getting the least attention right now. Classical infrastructure and AI infrastructure are both exposed, and they are connected. Gartner named agentic AI oversight the #1 cybersecurity trend for 2026. That's no surprise. Their January 2026 report identifies non-human identity security as the foundational control layer for machine actors. AI agents have identities. They have permissions. But most organizations have not extended their access governance thinking to cover them. The Five Eyes guidance is worth reading yourself. 6 governments collectively saying, prioritize resilience, reversibility, and risk containment over efficiency gains. This is a meaningful shift in framing. That's not the language of prevention first security. OWASP's Agentic Top 10 for 2026 is worth bookmarking also. Tool misuse and exploitation, and identity and privilege abuse map the specific threat categories. They distinguished least privilege, which covers what an agent is permitted to do, from least capability, which covers what an agent is architecturally able to do. Now here's where I've landed after all this. The security industry was built around a premise that was always partially unachievable at scale. To find every vulnerability, patch it before attackers exploit it. The tools built around that premise exist because the industry already knew it was not working. What the security research seems to be pointing to is that security needs to be organized around limiting what the attacker can do once they are in. Now, if you found research that should have been in here, or you think I got something wrong, I'm open to conversation. Jump in the comments, find me on LinkedIn. All of my links are down below. I'm Laura Kenner. This is Bootstrap Cyber, the channel for the people in the trenches. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.